Hello again, I am Blunty, and this is the Xiaomi Mi Pad 3. It looks very much like every other tablet looks these days. That said, it is very light, quite thin, and handling is nice and pleasant. It runs on the MIUI firmware, which is Xiaomi's custom Android-based firmware for their smartphone and tablets. In this case, it's built on top of Android 7, or Nougat, which is the most up-to-date version, so that's nice. And as you can see, while MIUI is Android-based, it's made to look quite a lot like iOS, which, you know what, is fine by me, whatevs. Under the hood, there's an MTK MT8176 2.1GHz CPU, which, as far as CPUs for tablets go, is somewhere in the middle of the pack when it comes to raw performance. There's 4GB of RAM on board and 64GB of system drive space, about 58GB of which is free out of the box for you to actually use. The rest, of course, is taken up by the OS and pre-installed apps. On the matter of pre-installed apps, I'm very delighted to report that unlike a great many other tablets of this kind, the amount of pre-installed bloatware is very, very minimal indeed. In fact, there's just a small handful of Xiaomi's own apps, of course, which are all pretty lightweight and perfectly functional. But aside from that, it's a very clean install indeed, and very close to a vanilla Android experience in fact. Outside of the custom launcher's iOS leanings, the screen is a 7.9-inch IPS capacitive 10-point multi-touch screen with a 2048 by 1536 resolution, which gives you a 326 ppi, or pixels per inch, which gives you a delightfully crispy image. In fact, the screen is pretty great in general, bright and vivid, clean, colors pop without being oversaturated, and contrast is good too. And yes, even outdoors it's nicely visible. The battery is a 6600 mAh, which according to Xiaomi delivers up to 12 hours of multimedia consumption and standby time of up to 867 hours. Now, real-world battery usage is harder to measure, but I will say that it's been very impressive. Standby consumption is very light indeed, with Wi-Fi left on even, and during average use, I feel like the 12-hour mark is pretty fair. It's got the usual broad compatibility Wi-Fi, an 802.11a, B, G, N, and AC, dual band, Wi-Fi Direct, hotspot, and Bluetooth 4.1, A2DP, and LE, all making connectivity very, very easy. You'll have no issues at all there. It charges over the ever more common USB Type-C port, and it does support fast charging. The rear camera is a reasonably basic 13-megapixel sensor with an f2.2 lens over the top of it, which itself is also unremarkable. The front-facing camera is a 5-megapixel sensor and an f2.0 lens.
As far as using it for vlogging goes, well, the front camera is not that wide. I'm at full arm's length right now, and it's a little too close for my taste. I mean, you're not going to be able to get, you know, a group shot in here, or even two people very comfortably. So, you know, and as far as the microphone quality sounds, well, you can tell me that. I'm also noticing that on the screen, although I believe this video is recording in proper 16:9 widescreen, on the screen it's 4:3, which I can't figure out how to get the camera to show me exactly what it's recording. It's actually recording slightly wider than what's showing me. Even the default camera app doesn't do that. I'm sure if I installed a third-party camera app, it would behave properly, but the default one, I don't like it much.
Neither the front or rear camera are particularly spectacular, but they'll both do their respective jobs just fine for quick snaps for social media and such, or for some video chatting. No worries at all. But frankly, not really a useful place to be for anyone who likes to think of themselves as a photographer. The dynamic range, for example, is very unimpressive indeed, and, well, you know, you can see for yourself. Although that said, on the subject of photography, the excellent responsiveness of the tablet combined with the very nice screen can make this a nice tool for a bit of photo editing for bringing in shots from a dedicated camera over Wi-Fi before posting them on your social media places. Media playback is nice, the speaker is okay for basic stuff, there's plenty of volume to be sure, and it's nice and clear, if lacking a bit in depth. So for movies, I'd go with headphones.
A lot of training on my team. I want to thank my mum and dad for...
Coming on to gameplay performance now, it's okay. I saw the occasional stutter in some more demanding games, but nothing that killed the experience altogether, and most stuff, as you've been seeing, runs perfectly fine. So, at the end of the day, what we have here is a very nicely designed Android tablet with a relatively lightweight and unobtrusive third-party interface. Its performance won't blow your mind, but it has been smooth and responsive for me, and as you've been seeing, there's no issues with running common apps and games. The iPad 3 is thankfully clean and clear of gimmicks. It just wants to be a nice, practical, inexpensive, useful, basic tablet for media consumption, for web surfing, social media, emails, all of that kind of base level stuff that is the very reason people even own tablets to begin with. Which is to do that common day-to-day stuff, but on a screen larger and more eye-friendly than their phone might have. It's currently listing at just under $270 on GearBest, and at that point, I feel like it's a pretty decent value. Xiaomi is a brand with a good reputation, it's built quite strongly, and it presents a very pleasant usage experience. It's hard to gush about something like this because it is what it is. It's a lovely, inexpensive, and basic Android tablet. It's not fancy, and it never tries to be. It just gets the job done, and I do appreciate that, and it does get the job done quite nicely indeed. I kind of like it. Thanks for watching. I am Blunty, and I will catch you next time.